All right, today we're doing lesson 4-9, multiply decimals, and we're going to do a little bit backwards here. I'm going to have you scoot down to the bottom of the page, and we're going to do a look back on this problem here. So how many decimal places will there be in the product of 3.5 and 0.21? Explain. So let's go back and review how we figure that out. So if we have 3.5 times 0.21 and we do all our multiplying and we add and we have our digits and we have to decide where does the decimal go. What we need to do is we need to figure out how many digits are in decimal place value. Well, that 5 is 5/10, that 1 is 1/100th, and this 2 is 2/10. So there's 3 digits in decimal place value. So in our answer, we need to have 3 digits in decimal place value. So keeping that in mind, as we move back up to the top on this very strange activity here, what we're going to do is we're going to be looking for relationships between the number of decimal places in the factors and the number of decimal places in the product. Kayla's teacher asked the students to write one digit on each blank and find the products. How would you complete expressions? What are the products? Solve these problems any way you choose. So if we write one digit in, just say we pick the number 5. Let's pick 5 for everything. So we're just going to go through and pick a digit and put it in for all the problems. And how are we going to solve these problems? So for A, 0.5 times 0.5, we know 5 times 5 is 25. We know there's 2 digits in the decimal place value. Both the 5s are in decimal place value, so there'll be 2 in the answer. For B, we have, again, 5 times 5 is 25. And we only have 1 digit in decimal place value. So we're only going to have 1 digit in decimal answer. For C, 5 times 5 again is 25. And in this case, we have 1, 2, 3 digits in decimal place value. So we're going to have to annex a 0 and put the decimal before that. And for D, we're actually going to need to multiply and using the distributive property. Sorry, got right in your hair there. Now we go back to our problem and we see we have 1, 2, 3 digits in decimal place value in the problem. So we need to have 3 in the answer. So that's what they want you to do on this crazy problem. They want you to be aware that when you multiply the digits first and then you place the decimal based on the number of digits in decimal place value in the factors. So in the product, like A, we have 2 digits in decimal place value in our factors. We have 1, 2, so we have 2 in our product. In B, we only have 1 digit in decimal place value, so we only have 1 digit in decimal place value in our product. In C, we have 1, 2, 3, so we have 1, 2, 3 in our answer. And in D, we have 1, 2, 3, so we have 1, 2, 3 in our answer. So that was that kind of strange solve and share for this lesson. So as we move on to the next page. On the next page, and this is all shown in the video, which you can watch, how can you use the standard algorithm to multiply decimals? Melissa's making fruit punch. She wants to make 2.5 batches using the recipe below. How much cranberry juice should Melissa use? You can use the standard algorithm to multiply 1.5 times 2.5. And she got the 1.5 because she wants to do cranberry juice right here. So 1.5 times 2.5. She's just going to treat it as 15 times 25, and then she's going to put 2 digits in decimal place value in her answer. So let's see how she solves this work. So step 1, she estimates. So she has 1.5 times 2.5 is like saying 2 times 3 or 2 times 2.5. So you should have around 5 or 6 should be your answer. And then when we go back and multiply, we multiply it like they were whole numbers. And then at the end, this is the most important part. You have to really add the number of decimal place values in the factor, and then put those number of decimal place values in the product. So we know we have 2 decimal place values in the factors, so we're going to need 2 in the product. So it's going to go between the 3 and the 7. The decimals put in at the end. And down in the convince me, how many tablespoons of sugar does she need? Explain how you found the answer. So remember, she wants to do 2.5 and she has 6 tablespoons. So we're going to do 2.5 times 6. 25 times 6 is 150. I did that quickly in my head because I thought of quarters. But if you have to multiply it out, 6 times 5 is 30. Put the 0 down, carry the 3. 6 times 2 is 12, plus 3 is 15. And we have 1 digit sitting in decimal place value in the problem. There's 1 digit. So we need 1 digit in decimal place value in the answer. So our answer would be 15. I don't have to write 15.0 because we write whole numbers as a whole number. But either way would be right. So as we're moving on, we're going to look at another look. So we have another problem to go over before we start our guided practice. On the next page, find 0.5 times 0.03. Well, we know 5 times 3 is 15. And this is, if you're not getting, this is a great little model right here. It really walks you through. There's 1 digit in decimal place value in 0.5, 2 digits in decimal place value in 0.03, altogether 3 digits in decimal place value. So for this problem, if we do 5 times 3 and I get 15, but I really needed 5 times 0.03, and I know I need 3 digits in decimal place value, I have to annex the 0 at the front of the 15 and put the decimal before that. So that was what we're doing today. The math is not too tricky. It's making sure you put the decimal in the right place. Sasha wants to multiply 0.5 times 0.8, and we know, because we're smart 5th graders, that 5 times 8 is 40. How many decimal places will she have in the problem? Well, she has 1 there and 1 there, so that's 2 altogether. So she's going to need 2 decimal place values in the problem. And she can actually write this as 0.4, and those would be equal to each other. So either way. Find the product, use number sense or estimation to check your answer. 125, 12.5 times 9 hundredths. We're going to multiply that out. 9 times 5 is 45. Carry the 4. 9 times 2 is 18, plus 4. What am I doing here? 18, 22. Carry the 2. 9 times 1 is 9, plus 2 is 11. And we have 3 digits in decimal place value in the problem. I want 3 in my answer. For the next one, 91 times 68 is how I'm going to look at this problem. 8, 72, 6, 54. And when I add them all together, I get 6188. 2 digits in decimal place value in the problem, 2 in my answer. The next guy, I'm going to do 54 times 8. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 3 is 43. And really, this was 2 digits in decimal place value in the problem, 2 in the answer. 7 times 4 is 28. I don't really have to do any magic math for that one, but I do have to think I have 1, 2, 3 digits in decimal place value. If I put the decimal before the 2, that would only be 2 digits. I have to annex a 0 and put the decimal before. Remember, putting a decimal after, if I put the decimal, like some kids will make the mistake and do this. That is the same value as that, so that's why that is wrong. If I want 3 digits in decimal place value, and I only have 2 digits in my answer, I'm going to have to annex a 0 before my digits and then put the decimal before that. So there you go. Check your work on a calculator, And you should be able to take care of this on your own if you have a calculator. Do the work on your own, but check it on a calculator. And there you go. Have a good day.